You see me, that's what I like to see, no show but I'm positive, yo. I'm Anonymous Beanie Man and now for short, and we're about to watch this video by the Harry Gold Show called Steven Universe tweeted terrible art so I fixed it. I'm not on the internet. I hate being on the internet. The negativity, it just doesn't make me feel good, and I realized that, and it's not even ever directed towards me, just reading comments, seeing the ignorance, people are dumb, stupid, insensitive. So I just don't get on the internet. Besides YouTube to watch YouTube videos and put out that content. But besides that, I'm drawing, sleeping, beating my dick. But I have seen the discourse. I love using that word. I have seen the discourse from Ostrich Box. He's the plug for the Steven Universe shit. Been watching him for years since I was in elementary school. Top tier content. Love this nigga. I accidentally bullied him into following me back. Hi Kevin, I lost my account, so that was for nothing. But anyways, the Pearl and Greg, let me give you my personal, this video is definitely for the Steven Universe fans. I know who the target demographic is. I've seen y'all in real life. Beautiful people. While I see why people would be upset if Pearl and Greg were to pair, and me personally, I wouldn't want it in the show. I like how the show went. I would not be mad, nor will I object if Pearl and Greg have some type of closer, open relationship. Even though they kind of already had that with Rose. I feel like that's another topic I feel like they need to explore, Greg's love life. I thought we were going to get that in Future. And I'm not the only one that thought that. But, and that's another thing. Future, I give the crew a lot of leeway with Future because, you know, something a lot of people don't know was that Future came after the movie when they canceled Steven Universe. And they saw how good the movie did, so they threw them 20 funky ass episodes. But those episodes could have been used better than what we got. However, I am so appreciative of what we got, and I love it. I would have changed some things. Bluebird, that whole episode just feels like season 5 Steven Universe, season 4. The writing, the design of Bluebird, it just felt so like, oh, it's giving 2017. It's whoa. As for Harry himself, he is great at replicating art styles. I was binge watching him last night. That's how I came across this video, because he had just uploaded it. And I was like, okay, I have to watch that. I'm not going to watch it on my own. Here's the thing. The reason why I saved this is because his Steven Universe art styles, whenever he does it himself, it's usually a miss for me. And I say this because it's giving Soundtrack Attack. I personally don't like his iteration of Steven Universe style because it's the generic form. It's not the true Steven Universe style that's adapted, you know? It's the style that he's shitting on Cartoon Network for using, yet he's not the best at replicating that style. There are artists like Art with Coda, KJD, that are amazing at KJD. That's her art style, but it just happens to look very Steven Universe-esque. So Art with Coda, I'm gonna use prominent figure kind of loosely here. I don't know how many people know him, but yeah, I used to tune into his live streams while he, you know, created characters and shit. And he too, pretty great Steven Universe art style replicator. It's just, this nigga, it's a miss. So I really want to see, a full video. I need to see, because what I've been seeing Steven Universe wise from him, it's been a miss for me completely, but all the other styles he replicated, flawless. It makes me want to replicate, especially the Ed, Edd n Eddy style. I love that style. Not that I've seen him draw it, I want to do it myself. So that's the plan. Watch the shit with me, y'all.
From Cartoon Network's official Twitter account, and I quote, Steven Universe drawn in different styles of the decades.
Oh, baby, no. Oh, no.
Account, and I quote,
oh,
Steven
this is by far one of the worst ones.
Drawn
Jesus Christ. Is this that Cookie brand? This one that we looking at in the middle? Is that Cookie brand?
Styles of the decades. The blue pencil is apt enough, but putting 4 whole colors on this palette might have been a touch optimistic.
Right.
Which is your favorite? Frankly, I'm struggling to pick just one. Shaggy's Hobbit stunt double.
That's Scooby-Doo?
So, even the way old Steve wears Astro Boy's gruesomely decapitated head like a Halloween mask, permanently frozen in a morbid...
And you know what? It's such... Steven Universe was popularly unpopular. I was bullied for being so infatuated and obsessed with the show. For as successful and as popular as it was, people hated it. And people hated me for liking it. But on the internet, it was such a tight knit. Well, my corner of the community, the community gets a bad rep, but my corner, okay, well, there's a few bad seeds in every community, but my corner of the community was pretty good, you know, coming up as an artist.
Facsimile of Joy. Just
Shout out to them.
kinda speaks to me. Only problem is, instead of actually capturing the aesthetics of these periods, CN just opted to trade Steve's woolly noodle for an uncolored sketch of somebody else's severed scone, and then clocked out for the week. But we can do this thing the right way. Let's go through
Oh, I'm already excited. I love it.
together one by one and see what Steven would really look like through the decades of cartoon history.
Okay, so this isn't anything of him replicating the exact Steven Universe style. It's Steven Universe in different styles that he's fixing from Cartoon Network. Okay, I love when he does this because he's done this with other cartoon characters, and I watch those alone, but I want to watch this with y'all.
Coming to you from beautiful downtown Forest Valley.
I love Steven Universe. I can't.
Doing the most.
I'm fanboying, sorry.
It's the Harry Gold Show with your host, Harry Gold.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program. The big animation
This nigga
networks
is
enjoy
paid.
ex-tweeting out
He has a
characters
sponsorship
in a
almost
popular
every
array of
video.
art styles, almost as much as they love rushing underpaid and underqualified artists. It's been a match made in heaven. That said, while Team Mickey and the Sponge Factory are content to put as little effort as possible into wringing engagement from their fans, our piebald pals over at Cartoon Network have consistently set themselves apart with their own novel
Just
approach.
as.
Get this. Actually trying. In stark contrast to the competition, today's subject is perfectly well drawn. This illustration was actually
He thinks so? Genuinely? Okay.
made all the way back in 2020, when Donald Trump was seeking re-election, all the kids were playing Fortnite and Roblox, and Disney was hemorrhaging Star Wars fans. What a different time that was. I was only made aware of this illustration recently, when Hanna-Barbera Screencaps tweeted it out, and some of you beautiful people at home saw fit to let me know about it. It's a little different to our usual style swaps, but I welcome the opportunity to mix things up. After all, there's only so many ways I can tell you Ed, Edd and Eddy's art style is shaky, wobbly, frantic, erratic, frenetic, tremulous, hectic, screwy, neurotic, before things get a little repetitive. The 1930s marked the debut decade for barge loads of history's hottest toon talents. From Bugs Bunny to Donald Duck to Benito Mussolini. Disney was goofing, Fleischer was booping, and the new
Maybe I'm just hating. Okay, I'll be less of a hater. The Cartoon Network sketches, they don't look bad. It's just he's way better at explaining this. You know, it just doesn't, there's something missing in all of the sketches. It's not okay visually as a whole. I said this is one of the worst ones. I was doing the most. It's not. It's genuinely not. It's not. It is one of the better ones, but it's not. It looks okay. It looks okay.
New Deal era's mildly disquieting animation aesthetic was smushed in somewhere betwixt. While this grimacing goofbag could probably use some braces on his teeth and acne cream on his kneecaps, the real ish here is that he looks about as period authentic as a tuxedo print tracksuit. For starters, stylistically, those crooked blue Pac-Man lodged in his eye socket seem to be gunning for Steamboat Willie's well-exploited corner of the public domain, even though that's a 1920s cartoon whose licorice-limbed aesthetic had gone the way of the Dramecium mimus by the time the 30s. Packing
Okay.
it in. But overall, the fashion of yesteryear just doesn't quite jibe with that aesthetic black hole we call 21st century menswear. I mean, for the love
Whoever's
of
watching this, let me know if you want to see me have a shot at this. It's not gonna be as good as him because he knows what the fuck he's doing. But let me give myself my flowers too. I am damn good at what I do. Let me not okay, animation wise, I know I got Trader Gems up on the channel that looks like pure ass. We gonna disregard that because my art looks way better than that. Baby, that was 2 years ago. Let's talk about now. I'm damn good at what I do, so But yeah,
Herbert
let me know.
Hoover. Nobody dressed like this in the 30s. Men were trying on their first necktie before the umbilical cord was cut in those days. Not only were the only folks wearing denim off mining for black lung, but graphic tees hadn't even been invented yet. And flip-flops were but a twinkle in the eye of an American soldier who saw Japanese sandals during the war and immediately thought of a great way to ruin footwear forever. Then of course, let's not forget Stevie's sideburnt nearly fro. Quite apart from apparently trying to hide cornrows under an inflatable rubber toupee, the only men game enough to rock this do in the Hindenburg years were pitching pies at Pagliacci. That means Steven here definitely needs a good pruning. As for design trends of the Great Depression, money was scarce in those days, so to save on the cost of eyeballs, they had incomplete pupils and only 2/3 of their eyelids shaded in. Those classic cartoon gloves saved studios a bundle on skin-colored paint too. Oh, and to get around our little ahistorical
Short sleeve shirts.
fashion faux pas, I've instead given Steve a 5-pointed belt buckle on extra high-waisted trousers, which was the style at the time. And now, before we continue, here's a word from this episode's sponsor. His name, Secret
Fuck with his shit. He does. Look, he does. I'm gonna play a little bit because it's so elaborate and it's look.
Agent Rick Razor. Occupation, top spy for a secret organization called the Manly Agents, neatly shaving chins and punishing evildoers.
Is this Manscaped? It is Manscaped. Fuck. Like, oh, this nigga is getting. You better get your bag. Fuck everything I'm saying. Fuck, get your bag, bro. Get your bag. Look, the way I knew, that is so fucking cool, bro. Yes, I love this. Oh my god, I love this. Yes, yes, yes.
I'd say it's also a pretty peculiar choice to foist this Greek flag color
Pinocchio,
palette on all our scrawly
right?
Steves. The whole set looks like some dull-eyed teen doodled them in the margins of his math homework as a result, which I guess might evoke some strain of nostalgia for anyone with enough.
Again, they're not bad. They're just not great. I could do better than this.
Paint up stock.
And the reason why I assume it might seem like I'm hating, and I am to a point, because these are big corporations that put out media that has to look good and has to meet a certain standard. And baby, this is Steven Universe. And if you're not going to go all out and do all these other art styles justice, and you're using Steven Universe as the main character to do so, now I'm on your head, because Steven is my nigga. That is my guy. Like, that is my dog. Like, him and Connie, like, bro, they're my niggas. They live up the street from me. Like,
Stockholm syndrome to have actually enjoyed school. But sans the colors, line styles, or desperate content warnings unique to these eras, it's just not quite having the intended effect.
oh my god, that is so racist.
Desperate content warnings unique to these eras.
Oh my god. Is this a dog or a Native American caricature? This is racist, right? Look.
It's just not quite having the intended effect. Though what we do have on this one isn't doing that much more to help. The 40s were the stomping ground of Mickey Mouse and Tom and Jerry. But while the other illustrations all draw connections that are direct to the point of plagiarism, from an aesthetic perspective, this just kind of wafts amorphously between generic children's book illustration and that one Family Guy skit where they sing about pie. Also, because the Starprint tee is still a no bueno for this nook of the 20th century, this time I'm dressing him up in an appropriately patterned necktie. Well, honestly, I'm impressed dressing him up in an appropriately patterned necktie. Well, honestly, I'm impressed with this one. Put yourself in Stevie's shoes, and I use the word shoes loosely. It's not easy for an American kid in the 50s to draw himself like Astro Boy. Considering that cartoon was made in 1963, but the manga was made in the 50s. The manga was made in the 50s.
Was it?
Wasn't
I'm not gonna hold you. I thought Astro. Okay, yeah,
until
60s. Okay,
decades later.
because I knew Astro came from the 60s. I don't know why I thought he was newer.
The only
Okay.
manga anyone in the West had heard of back then was Selling Fish in England. What?
What?
Like fishmonger, get it? With the accent, manga sounds like manga.
What?
I I have nothing but questions. Why is this face so bootleggy? Have his fingers been amputated, or is this just some kind of
I didn't even
full-body
peep the
samurai
hands.
sock?
Oh my
I mean,
god.
really,
Yeah,
who
this is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad.
first thought on mention of the 50s?
God, this is horrible. This is so fucking ass. I don't care if the artist is watching this, bro. There comes a point. You know what? I'm on the internet. I don't give a fuck, nigga. This shit ain't happening. I ain't on this shit for real. There comes to a point where you got to be prepared for this if you gonna work for a big ass corporation like Cartoon Network. Without a physical fucking office? So what are they, PR?
Astro Boy. The Japanese? I hear some pedantic weeb squawk in the comments. Well, guess what, you easily torn down straw man, you. Last I checked, the top manga of 2003 wasn't The Grim Adventures of Billy and Flippin' Mandy.
Oh my god.
The real epitome of 50s cartoon aesthetics, to my mind, is that period's highly stylized, modern art-inspired animation that sort of looks like if Picasso made a comic strip. And on the fashion front, this was still commie girl hair in those days, so Steve is definitely getting a trim. I'm also running out of excuses to put a star on the front of his outfit that don't involve cowboy boots or devil worship, so we'll have to settle for a loosely patriotic button on his jacket.
If I'm using his logic against him, though, where's the point of reference? The star? Because even with the star, I can't tell that this is Steven Universe I'm looking at. I'm not gonna hold you. It's not that any of these look bad. It's just he's not beating the hypocrisy allegations anytime soon, especially with this fucking video.
Elroy Jetson with what appears to be the shoulder pads from Michael Jackson's Thriller. Except instead of EJ's usual baseball cap, he's sporting some manner of space-age yarmulke. Seeing as Steve's Mars are talking space rock and Greg Universe isn't really giving chosen people, I'm gonna guess he's a convert. What's that, you say? Well, that wasn't incomprehensible enough for you? Well, friend, then you are in luck, because Steve of the Swingin' 60s is also decked out with the self-tying sneakers from Back to the Future 2, a 1980s movie series that also takes place in the 50s, 2010s, and 1880s. That's funny, I'm not seeing any 60s here. Am I experiencing some kind of rapid onset dyslexia? Or was quality control just taking a personal day? As for what makes our most iconic style of this decade, CN was at least shambling in the correct general direction. Aesthetically, it's nearly just the 50s animation look ground up and spat out by Hanna-Barbera's newly minted—
But my thing is, why are you making all of the Stevens adult looking? There were popular children characters back in the day, if I'm correct, right? I just can't name any. I can't. Maybe that's why.
cartoon sausage machine. Low effort, low cost, and low-key still looks nicer than anything Comedy Central has ever touched. Fashion update, this just in. Graphic tees do now officially exist as of this decade, but we still have some time to kill before the mainstream standards were low enough to actually put up with them.
But I just don't understand giving, what was it, the very first one, long sleeves and then rolled up sleeves now and then short sleeve.
What's this? Has YouTube
Okay.
got its
Okay,
wires
okay,
crossed and
whatever.
accidentally patched you through to a
It sounds like I'm
screen?
nitpicking. It sounds like I'm nitpicking, but I'm dead ass not. I'm dead ass not. I'm dead ass
Your
not.
pillow,
Dead ass
perhaps?
not.
No, in fact, that's just Cartoon Network's best attempt at a 70s version of Steven U, which
my
apparently
God.
is just to make Shaggy his very own
Right.
dummy little Scrappy-Doo equivalent. Does this imply that somewhere else in the world, Shaggy's body is running around with Steven's head on it?
Oh.
Like Zoink Scoob, I suddenly have the urge to talk about feelings with my magic lesbian bodyguards.
Well, Shaggy was technically a 1969 creation. We'll let that slide, because in the next segment I'm going to make the exact opposite complaint.
Oh, I love this
I try to be
already.
scrupulous,
This
you
one
know?
looks
I
like
keep
Steven.
my acts of blatant hypocrisy behind closed doors, where the Harry, also Harry, comments can't get me. The real trick is picking out the true main style of the 70s.
Yes.
Animation in those days was as stagnant as Kevin Spacey's acting career. The Flintstone Farm and House of Mouse both continued to look largely as they did in the previous decade, just with a few more flares and platform shoes. To my mind, the truly emblematic animation styles of the period are all the smaller projects, the kind of thing you'd see on PBS or in an ad. Cheap, loose, messy drawings by cheap, loose, messy hippies. As for fashion, sadly, we've finally reached the point where the
Yes. Finally, there you go. There you go. I love it. I love it. His body right here looks like a little UFO. Oh my gosh, I love the shapes. Jesus. Yes, this is Steven. Thank you. Yes, yes.
Perfectly plausible.
Fuck.
So Bell Bottoms and Burks are probably more likely.
Yeah,
from
this
the
is so
waist down.
good. Oh my god.
The Simpsons are as quintessentially 90s as listening to the Spice Girls, playing Super Nintendo, or lying under oath about Monica Lewinsky.
Okay.
In all 700 plus episodes, a grand total of 1 aired in the 1980s. There is mathematically more evidence that The Simpsons is the quintessential art style of Dave Grohl's birthday than of the entire Reaganomic decade. Yet our checker print chums have nonetheless decided to Simpsonize 80s Steven like he's some family of unimaginative suburbanites. In actuality, the 80s was absolutely the era of the Saturday morning cartoon, and there were 2 diverging paths the style could take, entirely dependent on the themes and aesthetics of whatever toy the show was cynically shilling to kids. If your program was a thinly veiled ploy to market cute toys like Care Bears or My Little Ponies, we had a squishy-cheeked, shiny-eyed style so
Yes. Jesus. Yes. See, look. I don't know if whoever wants me to replicate styles, I don't know if it's gonna look like this, but this is amazing shit. Like this is that shit. This is that shit. Yes, this is amazing. This guy is a fucking artist, okay? He is eating me alive right now.
And if your animation was instead a barely disguised advertisement for action figures like He-Man and G.I. Joe, everything was bulging muscles and blaring electric guitars in a
But my thing is, you could have easily used... Okay, personally, this one's a miss completely for me. Sorry. I liked all the other ones, even though they didn't look like Steven. Okay, the point of reference on the other ones was so low I couldn't even tell that it was Steven. Then he started getting to the Steven-y, shit. Cool. Then it's this. And it's like, okay. Why didn't you use adult Steven?
Jawed superhero style aesthetic.
Pink Steve.
And they've finally done it. This design approach appears to be Dexter-esque, as in Laboratory, not starring Michael Z. Hall, which for the first time on this poster is both the correct decade and the right kind of style. Much like the 80s, the quintessential animation look of the Seinfeld years could cut 2 ways. In one corner, by this point all the 50s kids had grown up to go on one big fat nostalgia bender. Not only did this give you throwbacks like Animaniacs and Ren and Stimpy, but it also resulted in a return of that mid-century modernist approach in shows like Powerpuff Girls and Johnny Bravo. Highly stylized silhouettes.
Oh my, yeah. Bro, no. Oh my gosh. Wait, I'm finna cry. I'm doing the most, my fault. But, oh my god, I love this so fucking much. Yes. Yes.
Simplicity and outlines that give you more variable width than putting Jonah Hill's filmography on shuffle.
This is so fucking cool. What the fuck?
Competing with this baby boomer reminiscence kick was Klasky Csupo's style of omnipresent overbite. These aggressively ugly character designs.
This is fucking Steven. This guy is so fucking good. Maybe I'm glazing, maybe I don't care. I'm a black stallion, I love to ride.
And creepy teeth were crawling all over
cowgirl, cowgirl.
And now we return to your regularly scheduled face swapping instead of the style change we promised. This is just Billy and Mandy, but without the end Mandy, and adding a receding hairline.
Right.
I realize it's typical for guys' hair to thin past a certain age, but is it normal for
okay, because my edges,
their toes to fall out too? The prototypical style of the turn of the century, in my indomitably humble opinion, is a natural progression of the 90s version of the 60s version of the 50s.
I love how he manages to not only make it look like the style, but it's so exaggerated. I love it. I can't explain it. Exaggerated. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Something wedged between Hanna-Barbera's softcore cubism and Microsoft.
It's a miss sometimes, to be honest, but he got it, bro. He got it. He got it.
It tends towards severe angles, blubbery outlines, and the kind of eyeball asymmetry you'd normally only see adapted on a popsicle. At
love
long
it.
last, we arrive at Steven's home decade and his very own notoriously
look at
2010s
Steven.
CalArtsy aesthetic. At least this one's on model. I'm sure the fact that it's traced didn't hurt, of course. But you know, some time has passed since that drawing was made now. We're at least spleen deep in the 2020s at this point, so why not take a crack at guessing what this decade's foremost art style will be? It's easier said than done, of course. Just about the only animations major networks are willing to make these days are
Oh,
reboots and
this
spin-offs,
kitty
cannibalizing
shit.
the styles of yesteryear. Otherwise,
Cartoon Network, I will commit a terrorist attack if you kidify Steven Universe instead of giving us the young adult rated show or adult rated show. If you don't give Rebecca her rights to her fucking characters, don't go to sleep. That's number one. Number two, I love the pilot art style. People let us shit on it just to be different. I don't give a fuck about none of that. It is so 2010s. It is so, I wish that's the Steven Universe we got. I wish that a lot of the cut content that we didn't get in the Steven Universe that we did get was in the original one, if that makes sense. Again, I can't stress enough how appreciative of Steven Universe I am, of what we got, this, and this. It's done so much for my life and my art. Look, but wishful thinking never hurt nobody.
you've got what?
I love the
Bluey?
pilot.
Smiling friends?
Oh my god.
At this particular moment, I suppose it feels like the most prevalent animation style of these modern times is that inoffensively bland yet truly unpleasant adult animation look. The one that's like some heinous mutant gene splice.
Right, why does a lot of adult animations look so ass? It's like there's an appeal there, but they deliberately take away some appeal just to attract to the older people. Yet we got shows like Adventure Time for all ages. Well, I say for all ages because why do we need to see Finn get sexually assaulted by LSP? We didn't need to see that. But I'd rather have that. You know what?
Family Guy, Rick and Morty, and a Bitmoji. But with the 2020s less than half done at time of recording, we'll need...
You know what? And I love it. I love it. Strange enough. Yeah, this looks like a parody. This looks like a jump cut to them talking shit about Steven. Oh,
some
I
more
love it.
time in the oven before we know where the real heart and soul, or perhaps distinct lack thereof, truly lies for this decade's animation scene.
Oh,
and
yes.
So that is a whole multiverse worth of Stevens through history.
In his defense, it does make sense for a character to look drastically different over the years. So I'm not gonna say he missed before the 70s. I'm not gonna say any of these are misses. Well, besides the 80s, that buff Steven, okay. Boy. Everything else before, okay, all of the drawings look good. Visually pleasing, yes. Amazing style replication, yes. Everything is a fucking 10. I just wouldn't be able to tell that this is Steven Universe, you know? And there's a way to tell if a super old character is that character if it's modernized, right? Or am I just being a jackass? I don't know, let me know.
Fixed. If somehow the artist of the original had the misfortune to find
so
him or
fire.
herself this deep in the video, I am truly sorry. Like the movie mobsters say, it's nothing personal. Just business. In all seriousness, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a twinge of guilt about slamming all these style swappers' work. It's never been my aim to hurt anybody's feelings, with the possible exception of whoever designed our real monsters. Ugh, disgusting. But at the same time, I just can't abide large corporations.
Yeah, let me say that. I just talked a bunch of big shit and sensitive shit about art, and I know how the art community can be. And I was even bullied online. I posted a picture of Lapis Lazuli. If I don't think I'm gonna take the time to find it. But in 2020 or 2021, I posted a picture of Lapis Lazuli, and I was dragged for days by the internet. Hundreds of comments just talking shit about my art, and I was like, damn. And like people, my followers was coming to my defense. My mutuals was coming to my defense. It was some shit. Look, but when I'm hating on the art, I'm mostly hating on the company, not the actual artist. Cause I don't know you, nigga. I don't know you as a person. Why would I attack you as a person or your character if I don't fucking know you? Fuck. Corporation wise, yes, Cartoon Network, cause y'all done some trifling ass shit during the run of Steven Universe, during the run of Adventure Time. Reparations, you owe us a lot. So I will get on Cartoon Network's head for that. But the artist is cool. I could have done better.
Effectively being able to use unfortunate staffers as human shields to render themselves immune to criticism of the often rushed and unfinished work they willingly and cynically publish. So to those networks, I say this. Keep up the great work. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. It helps me out a lot.
And it gives me something to react to. Listen, I never stopped drawing, but I definitely don't draw at all as much as I used to in school. And around the time I graduated, I just don't have the passion for it anymore. And I'm doing my best to still have the passion to finish my Steven Universe fan show. Not finish it in its entirety, because that's a little... but finish the second episode, Trader Gems. I fleshed out the story, and it's some shit. There's twists and turns. Oh yeah, it's worth watching, baby. But I just gotta get the production where it needs to be, and it's difficult because my personal. That's another issue I had upcoming as an artist too. I think it's a regular issue. Depending on what your main focus show is, that's where your art style is emulated from. Say you got Dragon Ball Z fans. Of course, their art style is gonna look like it's derived from Dragon Ball Z or Carbon Copy, because that's the main media you intake daily or whatever. Mine was Steven Universe. That was the show I watched day in, day out. Drew fusions. It had a hold on me, and it still has a hold on me, but not as much because I'm grown as shit. I don't give a fuck. Actually, I'm still obsessed with Steven Universe. I don't care. And when we get a revival, because I know it's coming, why everybody else, why you and you in the fucking front right there get a fucking revival, but Steven Universe can't because it's gay? Last time I checked, your baby daddy DL. And I caught your uncle running out the closet. Hell, if I turn the camera, don't be surprised to see if that motherfucker in my bed right now. Let's see how Connie is navigating through college, or let's have multiple time skips throughout the series. I would love to see that too. Pseudonyms, if you're still here, I fuck with you for fucking with me. Meet me back here or anywhere else I might be at, and I'll be here waiting for your return. Adi. Trying will always be good enough because I had enough will to do so.
Since we bout to close out, I do an improv. Plus that nigga stoning me cause I'm rock hard. About to get exclusive, do something to get your rocks out. And I'm telling you all of this cause it's what? Improv! Surprise, bitch. At the end of the credits, bitch. More than a name and some ambience, bitch. More than some grammar and some edits, bitch.